Hey guys! I just wanted to share with you some experiences that I had with providers that resonated or that I thought about when I read this week's reading. So, the first one that stood out to me from this week's reading was on page 33 of the textbook when Michelle talked about the uncertainty in illness theory. And that has to do with when patients have little or no understanding of an illness or have no experience of that illness in the past. And so they experience symptoms that they're unfamiliar with, and the patient might misinterpret it as either not meaning anything at all or meaning something different than it actually does. So in I resonated with that because when I was first diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, back when I was 10, I was having symptoms of diabetes for probably 6 months to a year before I really realized that there was anything going on. I didn't I wasn't used to paying attention to my health the way that I do now. Like, 10-year-olds just aren't generally that in tune with their body. I know I wasn't. And I just totally brushed off any concern that I had for the because of the like health related uncertainties. Sometimes we avoid information. The uncertainty in illness theory talks about how we avoid info that we perceive as a threat of gaining that knowledge when that knowledge is unfavorable to us. So that's kind of where I was at when I was experiencing those symptoms. It was a little bit denial, kind of a ignorance is bliss thing. I had never experienced any health problems prior to that diagnosis, so I didn't really know what to make of it. But I didn't even talk to my parents about it because that's how unconcerned about it I was. But I definitely felt like it was related to the uncertainty and illness theory because of kind of my behavior as a result of the threat of, you know, something bad that I didn't understand could be happening to me, and I didn't know what to do with that. So, another thing that stood out to me in the reading was on page 42 of the textbook when it talked about concordance, and that's a shared similarity or shared identity between a patient and physician. It's usually based on demographic attributes, but in my case, it was more just based off of shared identity than anything else. So when a patient sees a similarity between themselves and the doctor, they are more likely to be satisfied with their care, their healthcare experience. And I know I was definitely in that boat when I met with an endocrinologist or a specialist that was a type 1 diabetic. And when I found out he was, I instantly connected with him, and I felt like I could trust him more than I would other physicians, and maybe even overlook some things that I probably wouldn't have overlooked in other physicians. So thank you guys for watching, and if you want to hear more about my experiences, please check out my write-up. Peace.